Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here, playing Smite. In this video I am on the Xbox One and I'll be showing you a bit of a preview, explaining some of the basics and slightly more complex things available in the game. I'll be showing you some of my favorite moments and talking about the game in general. Now, full disclosure, this is a sponsored video by Smite, and Smite is a mythology-themed MOBA action game available right now on PC and Xbox One, and it is the only MOBA available on consoles. It features gods of mythology like Zeus, Thor, Anubis, Hercules, and many more, and you can play it absolutely free at smitegame.com, and you can find additional information about the game on that website. It offers some unique things. My personal favorites are the unique camera angle and the huge assortment of gods that you're able to select, and they all have a different variety of like playstyles and what they can do and where they're effective, especially when they're grouped with other teammates. So those are my favorites, and we'll kind of be talking about some of the other things available in the game as we go through the video. Now, there is a tutorial available in the game that does a good job of explaining everything that there is to know, but I've decided just to go ahead and show some of my gameplay against AI bots and talk about the game in my own words and explain what's going on screen. Now, one cool thing is that there is a little bit of a learning curve, but here you see a store screen in which you're typically buying things for your character, like mana upgrades, active or passive power-ups, and there is an auto buy feature, which basically means that the game will automatically buy these for you based on what it thinks is going to be best for your situation. That's going to be useful for people that are maybe new to the game and kind of want to see what the game would recommend and how it would affect their playstyle, but you're able to turn that off, and I will be turning that off in the second game I'll be showing a little bit later. But for this game I kept it on and basically let the game choose all of my power-ups for me. Now, because we are very early on in the game, we don't have very many options in terms of our attacks or in terms of our equipment and whatnot. So what you see is our 4 attacks in the bottom right hand corner, and each god's going to have a different attack. Zeus has a wide variety of attacks, and in simplicity's sake, the X attack is a powerful thunderbolt, the A is similar to a shield, the B is a area of damage attack where it damages all the enemies in a certain area near you, and then the Y attack is kind of like his special move, and I'll be using that a lot in this video. You'll see me using that. And obviously, based on how good it is and on your upgrades, you're going to have a different cooldown counter on all of that, and they all use a different amount of mana. And obviously, you have health, which you need to keep full if you don't want to die and cost your team points. Now, we are in an arena type game, which is basically a straightforward team deathmatch 5-on-5. Again, this game is best experienced online. I am playing against AI CPUs right now. Now, obviously, if we don't have any mana or all of our specials are on cooldown, as you can see in the bottom right corner, we have some red indicating that we don't have enough mana for some of those. We just can use our straightforward attack, which by default is the right trigger, and for Zeus, it's going to be throwing a lightning bolt. Now, Zeus is a ranged character. There's a lot of different ranged characters that use arrows or bows, and there are obviously melee characters and other different types of characters that attack in different ways, and they'll be better suited for different scenarios depending on how you're playing and how your team wants to play. For example, Hercules is a very, very powerful character, and he delivers high damage melee attacks, but he doesn't have a very good area of effect when he tries to play versus many enemies at once. And because this is a 5-on-5, Zeus is a better option because I'm going to be focusing on more targets, and it's not really about damaging one person a lot, it's about damaging a lot of people all at the same time whenever possible. Now, on the opposite side of our attacks, in the bottom left-hand corner, we see our consumables and our actives. For example, Zeus can do things like teleport if you buy the right upgrades, and you can also have consumables like health potions and mana potions, which are better used in different game types, so you don't see me using any of those. But you can use a variety of things, like teleportation is quite useful in some game types, like in Joust, and you're going to want to base your kind of strategy on those as well. Now, if we shift our focus back to the right-hand side of the screen, in this game type, you're going to see a ticket counter. Each kill is worth 5 points as far as I understand. Each god kill, that is, and then there's also different types of kills you can get against minions and stuff, and eventually you're trying to get your enemy team down to 0 tickets in order to have your minions go into their portal and win the game. This is the kind of simplest game type they do have available in the game. Like I said, it's a straightforward deathmatch. Above that, we do see a map, and we see a scoreboard as well as a gold counter on the top of the screen, and we also have stats of each individual god in the top left and right corner based on your team. you can see me, Zeus, in the top left corner, and then some of the enemies I'm going up against in the right hand side there. There's also a game counter, which is quite useful. Now you see me retreating back to my base, and you can do that in order to regain your health and mana, or you can press down on the D-pad in order to recall your god to the base. This will basically teleport him over to the base, but does leave you vulnerable on the battlefield, so you can only do that if you're not really being attacked. And because I had auto buy on, it automatically bought 2 things for me, which you can see now in the left hand side of the screen. There are 3 out of the 6 slots that are filled, and that's going to be useful for me to get better and better as the game goes on. Now, if you are, for example, really good and you're not going to be dying much, all of your enemies are going to be getting the chance to go back to their base and buy upgrades, so when they come back, they'll be stronger. So even if you're really good, you're going to want to revisit your base to buy better upgrades in order to be able to stay competitive on the battlefield. Now, on screen, you see me make the terrible decision of going against a tower, and I basically died instantly. Now, there are towers and minions which are best described in the next game type that I'll be playing, so I won't be talking too much about them right now, but towers are very dangerous to gods if they're taken alone. You're going to want to either do them with your team and make sure you have kind of minions to support your rush. On screen, you see me continuing to lay down some crazy thunder on these enemies, and I'm just pretty much obliterating them, which isn't really a surprise considering I'm playing against AI here. I decided that I thought it would be a good idea to give you guys a little bit of a sample of the in-game audio, so I'm going to join you back in about 15 seconds when the game ends. Now, I've kind of explained everything I wanted to in the arena mode. We are approaching the end of the game as through the magic of editing, and my team is victorious after slaying the last god in order to drain their tickets. After each game, you're given a victory as well as a short kind of cinematic to end the game. Now, after we're taken out of the game and put back into the main menu, we're given a bit of a progress report / scoreboard of what happened in the game. Now, because I'm playing in practice mode against AI, I didn't earn any favors or worshippers or experience, but I did earn some accolades, which are basically like medals. You can get double kills and triple kills, and then there's a scoreboard where you can look at your in-depth stats if you're interested. Again, there's a lot more useful information here if you just finished playing an online multiplayer match, which I recommend you try. Now we're going to be transitioning into a 3v3 joust, and again I'm going to be playing in practice mode against some AI competitors in order to be able to kind of show my point a little better in the video and show you guys some cool looking gameplay without having to play against like really good people online. Now on screen you see me cycling through some of the gods available in the game. They have Hindu gods, Mayan gods, Egyptian gods, Roman, Greek, Norse, and Chinese gods. There's a total of 60 characters available right now to choose from different classes of mythology, and each character also has a skin available to him, which you can buy using favors that are earned through online matches, or you can use gems, which are basically a microtransaction, but remember that all skins are purely cosmetic and they can be earned in game. Additionally, you can't just buy your way into the best skin because you won't actually be able to equip it unless you rank your character up enough. Now, I'm going to be using Zeus again, as he quickly became one of my early favorites while playing in this game, and I became quite good with him, at least in my opinion. I was able to dominate and win much faster at a much better speed than with any of the other characters, and that just came through a little bit of practice with the character. I'm sure that I could learn the other characters a little better, and there's also kind of a difficulty of how hard the character is to use, and that's also shown in the menu. So Zeus is an average character. There are also easy and hard characters to learn, and you'll probably want to use that in keep that in mind if you are starting out and you're new to the genre and you're not sure if you want to do something too hard. You can kind of select your character based on what the game recommends. Now, at the very beginning of the game, you notice that I bought some starters. I bought a potion for health and mana to restore that if I'm low on the battlefield. I also bought a teleport ability, which allows me to teleport a few feet forward in whatever instance I want, although it has a long cooldown. And you might have noticed that I didn't really rush out of the gate, and there is a reason for that. The match doesn't actually start like right away. There's actually a counter of like 30 seconds before the minions come out. And the minions, this is where I'm going to explain what exactly the minions are, which I didn't really do in the first video because they're not as important on arena game types as they are in jousts. Now, minions are these kind of little dudes. They're always going to be AI regardless of whether you're playing online or not. And they are basically cannon fodder. And for those who might be unfamiliar with that term, they're basically the guys that you're going to send in to die for you while you can do all the cool stuff. Now, why are they important? Well, there's a variety of reasons you're important. In this game type, what you're trying to do is you're trying to go across the single lane in the middle. You want to destroy the enemy's tower, which is directly in front of me. Then you want to destroy their Phoenix, and then eventually kill their Titan. Now, because this is 3v3, it's one lane, which means there's kind of like one central lane where everyone's going through. But there's 5v5 with like true MOBA 3-lane experiences. And that's going to be kind of more complex, involve a little bit more teamwork, and you probably want to build your way up there. Now, you can see the tower is in front of me, and I could have attacked it, but I didn't. And one of the reasons is the tower is very, very, very powerful. And if you decide to walk up to the tower by yourself, you will likely die within probably under 5 to 10 seconds. And what you want is you want your minions to spawn. You want to help kill the other team's minions. And then you want your minions to run to the tower and take the brunt of the damage from the tower. Once they're kind of in the line of fire, as you saw me just do there, you're going to have to come back and then make sure you don't get hit. And you're kind of trying to push your forces against their forces in order to kind of get better ground on their tower. Here you see me retreating because I was very, very low on health, and I do end up recalling myself. I believe, yeah, I end up recalling myself to my base, which allows me to restore my health and mana and also buy new upgrades. Because I don't have auto purchase equipped this time, I do actually have to manually purchase everything in my base. Now, again, you probably want to be a little faster than I am in your base when you're kind of cycling through your menus, as there is stuff going on in the battlefield and you want to be involved. Like I was saying, it's essential for you to have your minions attack their gods while their minions attack your gods. And basically, it's kind of like a tug of war where whoever kind of supports their minions better will get a little bit closer to the enemy's base. And then if they respawn more powerful, they can start pushing you back towards your base. And it's a little bit of that push and give based on how your minions and your gods are performing. So here we kind of have a clash in the middle. I decide to use my kind of biggest attack and kill as many people as I can. And you saw that I basically cleared out the battlefield for my minions to rush. And now all my minions are in this circle taking the brunt of the damage from the tower. And we have all three of our gods in the circle attacking the tower. Now, once the tower falls, it is gone forever, and we don't have to worry about ever being attacked by the tower. Kind of forward to the right-hand side of the screen, you could have seen a flying Phoenix, and the Phoenix does actually respawn. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second here. I'm going to just fast forward to when we do actually take out the tower. So you can see that we're almost done taking out the tower, but all three of the enemies have respawned and kind of pushed us back out of that ring. They're a lot more powerful, obviously, than our minions, so they'll take out our minions pretty quick, and if they do take out the minions, the tower will attack us and kill us. Now, I do have a little bit of a close call with my health and mana here. My mana is almost all the way down, so I can't use any of my attacks, and my health is below half. So I've decided to go ahead and use some of my consumables that you can see in the bottom left corner, and I would quick access them by holding the left trigger and using Y to refill my health or B to refill my mana. Now that we've taken out the tower will not respawn, and we have full clearance into their kind of base, and it is guarded by a Phoenix. Now that Phoenix kind of works in a similar way to the tower. It blocks the actual entrance to their base. It does take damage in a similar way to the tower, and it does also deal damage in a similar way, although I think it deals more damage and takes more damage to actually kill. It does also respawn. I might be wrong on this fact, but I think it respawns with less health, meaning it's easier to kill every time you kill it. From personal experience, it seemed like the second and third times my team had to kill it, it was much easier to kill. Now here I kind of went balls to the wall and decided to try to kind of hold back as many enemies as possible with one big move here, and I simply died. So I respawned back to my base, and while you're respawning, your respawn timer kind of depends on how well your team's doing and what you did on the battlefield. I'm using the store to buy upgrades so that when I respawn, I'm more competitive, and as you can see, my health points way up now than they were last time I spawned. Same with my mana, and I'm actually going to fast forward a couple minutes from this point on to where we actually do take down the Phoenix for the first time. Now, it's actually taken my team almost 5 minutes to make enough pushes to give enough damage to the Phoenix to take it down, and here we are making our kind of final push against it. Once it does die, you'll see a ring appears, and then that ring fills with white bars, and that marks the progress of its respawn. And after you kind of make your final push, you're basically going to try to destroy their Titan. Their Titan is kind of this big beast, and depending on the kind of color of the team and the makeup of the team, you have different types of Titans. In our base, we have these two kind of floating Greek-looking gods. And in this base, they have this kind of big melee character, as you can see him on screen. And unfortunately, he's immune to a lot of attacks in general, like the special attacks. You basically have to slowly pound away at him using your general attack, which in my case is a pretty weak kind of thunderbolt throw. And as you see, another thing that kind of makes it harder is that the gods of the other team keep respawning in that base with the Titan. So you're kind of going to have to take a long time to kill that Titan. You're probably going to die a few times while attacking him. Your minions are probably going to die, so you're going to have to do a lot of the combat yourself. And it becomes a little bit of a strategy about how much damage you want to do before trying to flee, or how much damage you think you can get in before the Phoenix has to respawn, before more minions come to back you up, or before other gods are able to reach you from your side of the base if they did die. So it becomes a little bit more of a strategic push, more so than the tower and the Phoenix in my opinion, and it becomes a lot more hectic and a lot more dangerous, but a lot more rewarding, because as soon as that Titan is downed, you actually win the game. And that's the ultimate goal, is to down the other team's Titan. So I've fast forwarded even more in the game. I now have more health points, more mana points. A lot of my attacks are upgraded, as you can see by the bars underneath their icons in the bottom right hand corner. And we're making our kind of final push. We have a lot of minions in here. I have a lot of mana, and I have a lot of my really good attacks stored up and ready to go. All of my heroes are here, and we're going to make that final push. Obviously, in an online game, this is something you want to coordinate with your teammate and make sure you are all going in at the same time and damaging the Titan kind of strategically. The Titan's always going to try to focus on one person to destroy, and right now he's focused on me, and eventually we do take him out, and then the game ends with a cinematic and a congratulatory victory sign, as it would normally. Now, the first time I played this with CPUs, it took me about 25 minutes. The second time, I felt like I learned more and I got better, and it took me about 17 minutes. So I got a lot better, and I felt that kind of little bit of sense of reward that one gets when they improve on a game. And that's all I wanted to say. Now, to end off the video, I basically wanted to recommend the game. And yes, it is a sponsored video, but I am in no way obligated to tell you guys that I personally recommend this game, in my opinion, unless I want to. And I do recommend you pick it up. Number one, it's free. You can't go wrong. Again, smitegame.com, or you can look at it on your Xbox Live storefront and find it that way. It's a free game, and it plays very well. And I've been playing it even after making this video, even though I don't necessarily have to for the sponsorship. So I do recommend this game. It's a hell of a lot of fun, and it's a great time. A little bit of a learning curve there, but it is a very rewarding game once you learn some of the intricacies. Thank you guys for watching. As always, feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe for future videos, and hopefully I see you next time. Peace!